something clicked in my brain and I was like, I'm sick of this. This is not my life. Who am I kidding? Like, this is great for them. So, like, no shade to anyone who is having these like beautiful aesthetic glow up journeys with lemon water. Like, that's great for them. That fits into their life. I'm going to start making the content that I need to see right now.
You guys, I am so excited for today's episode because I really think you are going to feel seen by this one. This episode is for every woman who has ever looked up and thought, wait, when did I stop feeling like myself? Like I'm here, I'm doing all the things, I'm keeping the wheels on, but somewhere along the way, I kind of lost touch with me. And today we have Leila Howell joining us all the way from Australia. And I'm so thrilled to talk to her because the second I found her content, I thought, she gets it. I found Leila in December 2025 when she posted her very first reel on Instagram. And listen, Instagram is way too often a highlight reel. It's here's my perfect morning routine, here's my perfect house, here's my perfect body. And I'm like, okay, love that for you. But Leila is bringing something completely different, and that's what makes her so refreshing. Her whole approach is a gentle glow up, not a glow up in a be hotter by Friday way, but a glow up in a come back home to yourself way. It feels honest, not performative, and that's exactly why so many women connect with it. And here's the wild part. Her very first reel went viral. She gained over 100,000 followers in a matter of days, not because she hit some secret Instagram algorithm lottery, but because she was saying out loud what so many women have been quietly thinking for a long time. And this is Leila's first ever podcast appearance, and we are talking about what it looks like to find yourself again in midlife, without pressure, without perfection, and without it taking over your life. So please welcome Leila Howell to the Found at 40 podcast. Leila, welcome.
Wow, thank you so much. It's quite an intro.
Well, I'm just so excited that you're here. I feel like when I first found your reels, I feel like it's one of those Instagram suggested, you just popped up. And I was immediately like, whoa, this is me. I feel this. This is completely relatable. First, it was very just like soothing for one. It was like a relaxing watch, but it was like, she's speaking to my soul. So I feel like that's what a lot of people feel though.
Oh, 100%. That has been the general feeling and sentiment that has come from that video.
So if you're unfamiliar with the reel that Leila made, here it is. If you're watching, watch it. If you're listening, hear it. It's wonderful and soothing.
Hey, so that's me. I'm Leila. I'm almost 42. I've got 2 kids under 5, and I'm currently trying to glow up from literal scratch. Like, not a cute glow up, not an aesthetic. I'm already gorgeous and healed everything with lemon water glow up. That doesn't really resonate with me. So I'm figuring out what actually makes me glow, besides stress and caffeine. Mostly because I've moved countries, had a baby, gone through a pandemic, had another baby, turned 40, moved back, and misplaced my entire personality somewhere in there. And now everything hurts, and I'm tired. So yeah, that's the starting point. This is basically me trying to become someone again. Because right now, I feel like I look like I just woke up from a 4-day party and I wasn't even at the party. I just want to be a happier, healthier, more present, slightly less unhinged version of myself. Just slightly. I don't want to oversell anything. So here's what I'm going to be sharing. My very realistic fitness journey starting at, how do I make my legs work again? Skincare that makes me feel alive, or honestly, I'll just take washing my face once a day. Some mental health check-ins so I don't completely unravel. Finding hobbies again so I'm not doom scrolling myself into an early grave, and a few stories from my almost 42 years that probably explain why I am the way I am. So if you're also trying to glow up midlife while raising kids and dealing with the chaos of existence, you're my people. Let's see where we can get.
You post this video. Did you expect it to kind of explode the way that it did?
No, absolutely not. I thought maybe my husband, my sister, and my best friend
Yeah.
might like it and comment, and that would kind of be it. I did not think at all the response would happen that it did.
That it would have like global interest and appeal, that people all over would be seeing themselves in you.
Yeah, I mean, there was always a hope there that it was going to resonate with other women,
Hmm.
but I didn't expect to that magnitude at all. No way.
Can you tell listeners a little bit more about you?
I'm recently back in Australia. I mean, I say recently, but we've been back, I guess, just over a year now. And before that, we were living in Seattle. We lived there for close to 17 years. We fell in love with Washington State. It's such an amazingly beautiful place with all the forests and pine trees and everything. It's just absolutely stunning. Before that, I was just a kid in Australia. My husband and I, we met in high school, so we're high school sweethearts.
Oh.
Um, we started dating in, oh, now I need to memory, 2001. And so we've had quite an adventure together. We went to university, and straight out of university, he got offered a job over in Seattle. We got married. The next month, we packed up everything we owned and we moved to Seattle. We told all of our friends and family, oh, 5 years, we're just going to give it 5 years. And then we fell in love with the place and we bought a
Hmm.
house and we had two kids there. So both of my kids were born in America. So I've got little Ausmericans. And we came back to Hamish, my eldest, was ready to start school. And we just wanted to come back and be with friends and family and get him into school here and just sort of try that whole Australian life out.
So you've been back in Australia, and what have you been doing from when you arrived back there to kind of now? Have you been raising your children? Have you been working? What's kind of been your vibe?
Raising my children.
Hmm.
So picking up our whole life. And, you know, my husband Daniel and I, we became adults in America. So, like,
Hmm.
we became the people we are now in America. So coming back was a little bittersweet. Like, we know Australia, that's where we grew up and we were born. But we were also leaving this whole life that we had and our friends or our chosen family to come over here. So there was a little reverse culture shock, just getting used to the way that things are done in Australia and also being out of the country for 17 years. You kind of miss a whole chunk of what's been going on in the country. And
Hmm.
so you are Australian, you're from Australia, but like there's this whole chunk that you've kind of missed out on. And so you've got to kind of like find your feet again and like
Yeah.
where are we going to buy these things? What are we listening to? Like just all these different little cultural things that you
You
just
missed
don't
like
even
a
think of.
generation of your culture.
Exactly. Yeah. There was a few moments like that. But I've been raising the kids and I've been thinking about getting back into work. So by trade, I'm a graphic designer. Before I had my daughter, Maisie, I was a product designer. I actually worked on a childcare app. It's kind of like Airbnb, but for nannies and finding childcare. It's called Urban Sitter. And I
Okay.
was working there. And so at this point, I think it's been 2.5 years since I was employed in
Hmm.
graphic design. And so I did look at that and it all kind of felt a little overwhelming and scary. So I've just been focusing on the kids and getting them settled down into life in Australia. And then I needed something creative for myself, for my brain. And I've wanted to make videos for TikTok, is where I originally posted my videos.
Okay.
And I'm an introvert. And the biggest thing that was holding me back was putting myself in front of the camera. I
Hmm.
found it incredibly intimidating and I just didn't want to do it. And then on a whim, I just did it. And that's that first video.
Yeah.
And now that's taken off. So I guess I'm back at work. I'm still getting comfortable with saying that. Like it's not just a little hobby anymore. It's what I do.
How wild is it that you posted this video and it has become a thing. It has become so much more than just, hi, I'm Leila and I'm trying to glow up instead of lying down.
Yeah. 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 It's so funny. I wish I could write the way that I wrote for that video. That video, I still to this day get so many comments and likes. And I think honestly, 95% of my followers are from that reel. I wish I could pull out the essence from that
Yeah.
video. I don't know how to explain it. I was just so tired. So when you first see me in that video and my hair's not done and I'm wearing my giant jumper or sweater, I didn't plan any of that. None of that was scripted. I was just so tired. I think I had spent the night in Maisie's room with her because she was having trouble sleeping. My husband was away on business, and so I was solo parenting. And I was just scrolling TikTok and Instagram like I did and was saving these little aesthetic glow up videos like I did, thinking about, oh, one day in the future when Maisie's sleeping through the night or I have more time or, this, I'll come back to these videos and I'll apply some of this to my life. And I was scrolling and something clicked in my brain and I was like, I'm sick of this. This is not my life. Who am I kidding? Like, this is great for them. And so, like, no shade to anyone who is having these like beautiful aesthetic glow up journeys with, lemon water, like all of that. There's no shade to those people. That's great for them. That fits into their life. But I wasn't being true to myself and the way that my life was. I was making myself feel bad by watching these. And I was like, you know what? I'm sick of this. I'm going to start making the content that I need to see right now. And that's where that first video came from. I just had no cares left. I was like, I'm just going to show the internet the way that I look right now because this is real life.
And that is what is resonating with people. That's like the what lightning in a bottle that people have seen, that it's just like they feel seen because there are those aesthetic glow up videos of, people who look so put together and they have their, the perfect lighting and the perfect kitchen and the perfect yada, yada, yada. But it's like after a while, just like you said, you start to feel bad because you think, oh my gosh, I wake up looking like a bog witch. I wake up and I look terrifying. There's nothing cute about me going like, woke up like this. When you saw like this crazy response to that reel, that one reel, like what did you realize that the women were connecting with?
I've thought about this a lot. I think they were connecting with all of it. I was putting words to these feelings that we're all feeling that we kind of, at least for me, ignore. I found that when I became a mum, you just very slowly over time deprioritize yourself to the point where you're not even listening to yourself anymore. You're just putting everybody first and you're doing what needs to be done for your kids and for your family, that you almost become invisible.
And it's like a million little things at a time. It's not like all of a sudden the switch is flipped and it's like, oh, who am I?
Yeah, it's just little pieces at a time until eventually you're like, wait, who am I? Like you just get so caught up in the day-to-day of being a mum and managing the house and your family or, whatever your situation is. And it's just little pieces at a time until, for me, I felt a bit like a ghost and I wasn't seen. And also, I think a combination of, getting lost in motherhood and also hitting 40. For me, I feel like I've noticed as I've gotten older and being a woman, you sort of become invisible. And I feel like that might happen as you get older as well. I don't know if that's aging or whatever. Like I'm sure there's a myriad of factors there that count to that. But we just kind of become invisible the older we get. I've experienced it. I don't know, I can't speak for you, but like I'm sure a lot of people have experienced this. I know that my friends that I talk to that are in a similar season of life, they feel the same way. And so with my video, it was just acknowledging it and like saying it out loud, and instead of pretending that this was not happening. I just wanted to give us a voice.
Yeah, it just really hit hard for a lot of women of saying, yep, that's me. That's how I feel. And thank you for putting words to my feelings. Because I think that's what a lot of people, especially me, I struggle with that. It's like I have these feelings or emotions kind of bouncing around in my head, not knowing really how to say it. But then when I see it, I know exactly like, yes, this is what it is. So I think that's what will, super resonates with a lot of people. And what I like is that the name of your account and kind of your theme is My Kind of Glow. It's not, when I think of glow up, a lot of times you think of like, this huge transformation of like, I don't know if you'd ever heard of this, but in the United States, there was this show. It was on it was early 2000s, like 2003, 2004. It was called The Swan. Have you ever heard of this? It was this horrible reality TV show. It was like you take women that have been deemed by whomever to be, ugly ducklings. And it's like, oh, we're just going to give you all sorts of plastic surgery and like dental overhaul and fitness transformations. And then you have this grand reveal, right? So problematic, so offensive. Like there's a good reason why this is not on TV anymore. But I feel like that has kind of stuck when people think of the traditional like glow up. You picture the makeover, but what you are describing is something that is a whole lot deeper. So let's kind of define it a little bit. When you say glow up, what does that mean to you?
It's funny because for the longest time before I started this account, I found the term glow up just incredibly cringe. I don't know what it was. I think it was just because it's like this cliche of like, oh, I'm having a glow up. And I don't know, I can be very self-deprecating. So I kind of make fun of things like this, especially when it's related to myself. And so I'm actually surprised that I did go with My Kind of Glow. But the more I thought about it, talking back about the like aesthetic type glow up videos, it just got me thinking, well, that's nice for you, but I want to find what makes me glow. And for me, glow isn't just, slapping on some moisturizer or some shimmer or something and like looking glowy. It's about feeling that I feel inside. When you feel that content, happy feeling inside, that's like a glow. And it's not something that we feel all the time or every day, but it's just that feeling that you get. And so I wanted to start putting myself first in some areas and just figuring out what those things were that make me glow. And so that's why it's called My Kind of Glow, because it's related to me, but it's also something that everybody else can apply to their own lives. Like for me, I'm still figuring it out. That's the whole point of the account. I don't know all the things that make me glow. I'm starting to figure that out, and I hope that it's encouraging other people to do the same. But back to the swan reference, maybe for some people it is plastic surgery, right? Like if that's the thing that gets them feeling that feeling, then great. I love that for them. I don't know if it's for me, but I love that for you.
A lot of times plastic surgery, that can be the big thing. It's like, okay, if there's this one, characteristic or something that really drives you crazy, like go off, do that, right? But a lot of times it's so much more than that. It's not just physical transformation, it's looking in deeper. And so what I really appreciate is that you have not just said like, oh, I would like to, have nicer clothes or look at this or look at that, but it's like you're really talking about like mindfulness and emotions and checking in with yourself. You're having to process this in real time because you probably didn't think, oh, I'm going to have an audience who wants to know more, who says, come on my podcast, tell me more about it. So you're having to be like, okay, let's figure out what.
Yeah, I'm like, wait, what do I know about this?
Like, let's give a full product of, this whole My Kind of Glow before you really know what it means. But that's fine. And for it to be like evolving and adapting, because this has been not even 3 months, not even 2 months.
It hasn't. I think I posted the first videos on TikTok. I think it was somewhere around the 25th of November. It went really well. And then I had a couple of friends that were like, I'm not downloading TikTok. I'm too old for that. Like,
I never go on TikTok, unfortunately, or fortunately. I don't know.
I don't know. Is that just an age thing? Is that just...
Probably a lot of it is age thing, but you know.
I was spending a lot of time on TikTok. I was consuming so much on TikTok. And then when my friends were like, I'm not doing that, I'm not downloading TikTok, I was like, oh, why don't I put it on Instagram? Which I don't know why I didn't think of that. I'm on Instagram too. I was just spending so much time on TikTok. And so it was just a natural thought, oh, I'll put it on TikTok. But then when I put it on Instagram, it exploded way more than on TikTok. And that makes sense now because I think that a lot of women around 40, they're on Instagram. They're not on TikTok.
Find those elder millennial women. They're on Instagram.
Exactly. And then it went absolutely nuts. So now I'm very like, oh crap, this is so much bigger than I thought it was going to be. It's a little overwhelming, to be honest. I do struggle a little bit with, am I doing the right thing? Am I making the right videos? And having that many eyes watching me and sort of glowing up or healing or however you want to word it in real time publicly, that's a very weird feeling, especially for someone who's an introvert and doesn't like being in front of the camera. And so some days I do struggle a little bit with what am I going to share next? Like, and then like how much of the realness do I want to share? I want to be genuine with my journey and what I'm doing, but also I do want to be helping other people along the way. So it's a bit of a balance of both. I'm still figuring that out. I don't want to complain because I'm in a position like this. And it just seems like such a privileged thing to be complaining about. Like, oh, I've got too many followers. What do I do? But I feel like I didn't get to go through the little teething problems that you get when you build up your social media and get more time to figure things out.
Yeah, you got thrown into the deep end. You did not get to slowly wade in.
No, not at all. And so now I feel like there's this mass amount of pressure to be performing at the level of an account that has 170,000 followers. But let me be honest, I have no idea what I'm doing.
You've got brands reaching out to you. You've got all sorts of people who are like, hey, I want to talk to you about this. I want to talk to you about this. And yeah, how do you know what is going to be right for you and keep the balance in your life? Because going from staying home and really just trying to figure out how you're going to find yourself again to, oh, this is now a business. And this has become a completely different beast.
I always want to be authentic. That is number one most important thing, is that I am being genuine and authentic. And that's how I live my life off of the camera as well. And so I want to make sure that that is coming through on Instagram and TikTok. I still post on TikTok, but I put so much more time and effort into Instagram because that's where all of you are mostly.
That's where your elder millennial girlies are. Yes. That's where we're like, we are 40, we're 41, we're 42. Like, please help us along our journey. Because I think a lot of us also, we've been ready for something like this. We've been ready for it, and just having kind of the structure that you're providing, a little bit of like, oh, maybe I should think about this, or maybe I should think about that. I think that is really, really something helpful, because dreaming it up in their own way, it's like they have this, and this is myself included, have this abstract feeling of like, oh, I would love to find what kind of is making me find myself again. And a lot of this is like this podcast that we're on, you know, is a part of that process. But let's walk back to like, okay, day one, it wasn't this dramatic overhaul. You were not saying like, okay, I'm going to flip the switch on everything in my life. Like, what were those tiny steps on day one like? What were you kind of thinking, okay, this is how I'm going to start? If this episode with Leila has made you feel a little more like yourself again, will you do me a quick favor? Send this episode to a friend, your sister, your group chat. Basically, anyone having a moment where they're thinking to themselves, wait, where did I go? And if you haven't already, follow Found at 40 and leave a rating or a review. It helps more amazing women find the show, and honestly is the easiest way to support this little glittery corner of the internet.
I guess with seeing these other videos, like we're talking about the aesthetic glow up videos again, I was like, okay, what can I actually do that's achievable? And so I kind of broke it down the way that I would approach any sort of challenge or problem in my life, or the way that I'm teaching my kids to approach things is, let's break it down into smaller steps. Okay. So it's not so overwhelming. Honestly, there's a lot of stuff in my glow up that I'm just taking things that I'm teaching my kids and applying it to my life and like breaking it down. I feel like when we're parenting our kids, we should be like parenting ourselves too. But I'm like, okay, so I really want to start working out. I really want to be walking every day. What if today I just get up and I do 2 minutes of stretching? That's it.
Yeah.
2 minutes. Just make it super, super achievable. And you might be like, oh, that's so easy, 2 minutes. That's the point.
Yeah.
It's so you get a win.
if nothing else, if this day that just seems like a tired sludge dumpster fire, it's like, you did that. Have you read the book Atomic Habits, or are you familiar with it at all?
I have, yes, and I subscribe to his newsletter. I look forward to it every week.
So it's like this is Atomic Habits, It's like, so for anyone who is not familiar, who is listening, Atomic Habits is about tiny, consistent changes that compound over time and they create big results. So it's like if you do these 1% changes, tweaks in your life, it's like at the time it feels like probably nothing. But if you look at it over time, it's like, oh my gosh, it's this big thing. It makes me think of the British cycling team. You know that story? How they used to be so terrible. And he mentions it in his book. So there's the British national cycling team was so terrible. And they were even so bad that like the top bike brands wouldn't sell them their bikes because they didn't want people to see like this terrible team riding their bikes. And so they got like a whole new performance coach, and he was like, we're just going to focus in on like the teeny tiny things that we can do, like for these almost miniature things. But it's like, okay, you do 30 little things. Oh, you actually get a change, you get a result. And so they went from being like a really struggling national team to gold medals and Tour de France wins and like all these things. And so that's just an example of like, okay, these little things, even though it probably doesn't seem like a huge deal to, I don't know, what's one thing they did? I think they like painted the inside of their van white so they could see where the dust was on things. And so they're like, okay, we gotta get rid of the dust. Like little tiny things like that. So not to go off on a huge tangent, but like those are the principles of Atomic Habits, like those tiny little things. And so I really feel like that kind of fits along with what your journey has been.
Absolutely. I mean, maybe subconsciously that filtered in there somewhere because that's absolutely true. It's just, yeah, exactly. It's just a percent or even 0.5%. As long as it's just a little tiny step forward, it doesn't matter if it's like getting up and doing 30 seconds of like mindful breathing. It's just taking a moment for yourself in however that looks.
It's not always about like do this big huge thing, let's overhaul our life, but it's like, okay, this is about momentum. It's when you start showing up for yourself, kind of the emotions that come with it. So let's dive in a little bit to like the emotional side of this glow, I would say. Do you feel like with the move, and you've kind of had this group of things of moving from America to Australia, having small kids, not having the career structure in your life. I mean, how do you feel like all of that together kind of affected your sense of self?
It's a lot. Those are a lot of things all on their own. So
like individually, they're all big.
Yeah, exactly. Having small kids, and having small kids a little later in life too. I had Maisie 10 days before I turned 40. I've never had kids when I was young, so I don't know. But I can imagine it's a bit of a different experience in terms of like energy levels. I could definitely see myself keeping up with my kids a bit better in my 20s or even in my early 30s versus to my 40s now. So it's having young kids a little bit older, and then also living in another country. So when we were living in America, being away from friends and family, when you are going through something as big as having children. Add on to that, we had kids during COVID. So my first was born June 2020.
Where
Australia
things
had
were as
lockdown.
much upside down as they could have been.
Right, because it had just sort of started. We didn't know what we were dealing with. We didn't really know a lot. And it just sort of turned all of our plans upside down. We had plans for my mother-in-law to come and be with us when Hamish was born. That all went out the window when COVID happened because Australia locked down. No one was allowed to leave and we weren't allowed to go back. It was just a complete lockdown. And so individually, these are all a lot of things to deal with. But then altogether, moving back here with young kids, it's exciting and it's an adventure, but you're also grieving at the same time this life that you had.
Yeah,
and saying
17 years in one place, that's not just a blip. That is where you became adults. That's where you formed your family.
It's home, which is at first when you like have that realization, it's a really weird feeling because when we were living in America, home was always Australia. Like when we go home and we're talking about Australia, Now it's flipped. So Australia is still home. Australia will always be our home. That's where we were born and we were raised. But we also were raised in a sense to become adults in Seattle, in America. And so that's home for us too. So you are always missing a place. We miss Seattle a lot. We miss our friends there. We miss our life there. And so you're grieving this thing that you don't have anymore and trying to adjust and fit into this whole new way of life. There are some big emotions there. There have been days where we're like, have we done the right thing?
Like, what
Should
did
we
we
go back?
do?
Yeah. Should we go back to Seattle? These are questions that we talk about a lot. We don't have any answers.
But the nice thing, you
But
don't have to have an answer, but it's
no.
kind of hard living in the gray of like, oh, did we do the right thing? Or is this going to be forever for us? Are we going to stay in Australia forever? Are we going to, be able to find our way back or, figuring out
Yeah.
what normal is? It takes time and sometimes it's really hard.
It is really hard. It's beautiful here. There's a sense of familiar here, having grown up here, but there's also some unfamiliar things too. And I think it's just missing our life in Seattle. We're also American citizens. So we feel, I don't know, we just feel very torn. We're like split between two places.
So, you're addressing kind of the emotions that you're feeling with making this huge life shift and, being in this place of trying to find yourself again. But one thing that I love is that part of that is finding your creativity again. You're talking about getting back into graphic design, you're painting. I love that you're like, I'm painting badly on purpose. I think there's a lot of pressure of feeling like, oh, I'm going to be terrible at this. So I don't even want to try. I don't even want to waste my time with being terrible at something, but you are giving yourself permission for it. So talk a little bit more about like finding your creativity again.
So I am a perfectionist, or maybe I'm a recovering perfectionist, is maybe a better way of saying that. It's also with creativity. I have a personality type of, if I can't do this perfectly, I'm not going to even try. And I don't know if that comes from some sort of upbringing of like, if you can't be really good at it, you shouldn't even try it. I don't know. I'm sure there's some sort of therapy in there that needs to happen. But it was just like, if I'm not going to be good at this, I'm just not going to try it. I mean, maybe that's what happened with like posting videos to the internet. I was like, I'm not going to be very good at this. I'm not even going to try and do it. Or, and I see it even coming out in my son in some ways, which is interesting because we've been very opposite that with raising Hamish, but he'll be like, oh, I'm not good at that. I don't even want to try. And so it's letting go of some of that and making space just to do the thing. So with the watercolor, for example, I love watercolor and I really miss it. And I would just not do it because I was like, oh, it's been so long. I'm just not very good at it. Like, why am I even going to try? And it's missing the point. I'm not doing it to produce some master work of art. I'm doing it for the act of actually the process of doing it. And I don't know if you're familiar with Adventure Time. It's an animated show. It's a kid's show, but adults watch it too. So my husband and I, we love like animated TV shows and stuff like that. And there's this show called Adventure Time, and it's about this boy called Finn, and he's in this like post-apocalyptic world with his magic dog, Jake. And it's a really fun show, but his dog, Jake, is, I guess he's a grown-up, even though he's a dog, I don't know. And he helps
Doesn't have to
him
make
along
sense.
the way. Yeah, it doesn't have to make sense. It's animated. They're living in a post-apocalyptic world. He sort of raises Jake, and he says, and I'm sure I'm going to butcher the quote, the first step to being awesome at something is sucking at it.
I love that.
So
I love
you've
that.
got to go through the like sucky bit so before you can become good at it. I
Yeah.
have to look
So
up the actual quote, and so I would tell myself that the first step to being awesome at something is sucking at it. I
yeah.
mean, how can you be good at something from the first time you've tried it?
Unless you're some like prodigy, which it's like there's 5 of them. So, don't try to wait till you're the prodigy at something or just amazing. How many phenomenal things will we be missing out on if you're just saying, I'm only going to do the things that I'm naturally amazing at?
And how do you know what you're naturally good at? if you don't
If you
try.
don't try. Yeah.
And you take a look at anybody who's a master in that space or, whatever it is, they practice. They practice and practice and practice and practice and practice. Like, I'm sure that 90% of the people who are the best in their field at things, they didn't just wake up one morning and were the best at what they did. They practiced. And that actually reminds me of when you said the British cycling team, it made me think of the Beatles. So, do you know about the origins of the Beatles?
No, I don't. Tell me.
And I'm sure, please, someone correct me if I'm
Somebody
wrong.
will correct
Yeah,
us.
I'm sure they will. The internet's full of people like that. The Beatles, for a long time, were no ones. They practiced gigs in pubs all the time. They just hours and hours and hours. And for a long time, they weren't very popular. They didn't have many people come to see them. And they just kept practicing their songs over and over and over and over until I think, what is it, like you hit your 1,000 hours or something? They say you have to hit 1,000 hours and something. And so that's what the Beatles did. They just kept playing and playing and playing and playing and playing. And now they're one of the most popular bands in the world?
But if they would have given up an hour, 10 or 20 or 100 to be like, this is never going to be worth it, what would they miss out on?
Exactly.
Everything. I mean, it makes me think of, this is something that I read in, again, Atomic Habits, because it's what I'm currently reading. But he talks about bamboo and how bamboo grows and how for like 5 years, all the growth is under the ground. It's like these root systems. And then it's like after years and years and years, that's when you finally see those shoots that are coming up. And I feel like that applies so well to being good at something, because a lot of times it's like, it's that practice and nobody's seeing it, nobody's recognizing it, nobody's complimenting you for what a wonderful XYZ you are. But it's all that, all that unseen work. And then it's like, okay, here we go.
Yeah, 100%. I think that plays in a little bit too in like modern day, in current day, where we can access everything so fast all the time. The internet has just changed everything. Anything we need is at the tip of our fingers. And so we've become very impatient and everything's now. And we apply that to ourselves as well. Like, oh, I need to know how to do this thing now and I need to achieve this thing right now. And I know I'm a very impatient person. I struggle with that a little bit too, is you've got to wait, just like the bamboo, and you've got to like let the roots take shape and form. And like, that's the good foundation before you start seeing the stuff above the surface of the time and the effort that you've put into it. But I just feel like we have all become a lot more impatient about things.
Oh, for sure. Yes, there's wonderful things about modern society, but I mean, even when I talk to my kids and I'm like, you know what? When I was younger, there was no streaming, there was no apps, the internet didn't even do anything that fun, And then being like, what did you do all day? And I was like, everybody was excited for the same things because there were not all the options. People were obsessed with the same TV shows because there were only the few TV shows. They were excited about the music coming out because we only had access to what was on the radio. There was just, it was just such a different time. And so now there's everything everywhere. And I think for better or for worse, but it makes us, like you said, impatient people. So one thing that you're doing that I absolutely love is your account, the content that you're putting out, your glow. It's not just throwing things at the wall. Like, you have a little bit of a framework to it, which I'm really appreciating. It kind of gives us as followers and as viewers know kind of what to expect and why you're doing the things that you're doing and how you've seen it benefit in your life. You've been able to kind of categorize the areas that you're wanting to focus on. And so you've got 5 pillars. Let's go through them real quick, if you don't mind. The first pillar is body respect. What does that mean for you?
If I had to break it down just to something small, I would just say listening to myself, like truly listening to what I need and what makes me feel good. Instead of saying, oh, I need to lose 50 pounds, which, if that's something you need in your life, that's fine. But instead of just like coming up with these things that you think that you need to have, what do you feel deep inside about what you need and what makes your body feel good? maybe weight loss is something that comes from that, but I feel like that's a secondary thing. At least for me, it's for me stretching my body. I'm respecting my body. I'm stretching it. I'm giving it attention, having breakfast in the morning. I'm respecting my body. I do not perform well. My brain does not work well. My body does not work well if I do not respect it and give it breakfast. So, like, there are little tiny things that you can find where you're respecting yourself. Because I know as mums, we're just go, 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 go. And I am so guilty of not eating breakfast in the morning. My husband makes coffee in the morning for us, and I can very easily just drink that coffee on the go wherever I'm going. So I'm like getting Hamish ready for school, and then we take him in the car, and so I'm just taking my coffee everywhere with me. I can just ignore having breakfast until it's like mid-morning and I've slowed down and I'm like,
And you're
oh, wait.
hangry.
Yeah, right. You're hangry and you're like, oh, I have not been respecting myself and giving my body what it needs. So it's just little things. And you need to do some internal reflecting there as to what that is for you. But for me, it's like drinking water and eating breakfast and like treating my body right and being respectful, just like you do with your kids, right? Like you make sure that they have what they need in order to function correctly as a human being. We need to do that for ourselves. We need to respect ourselves. By not doing those things, we are not respecting ourselves.
Pillar number 2, nervous system first. How do you know when your nervous system is running the show? What's kind of something that you've recognized with that?
So I, on and off throughout my life, have dealt with anxiety at varying degrees. I'm at a place in my life right now where I've got it pretty much under control because I guess I've lived with it for so long that you've learnt the signs and how to deal with it. But there was a time in my life where it was so bad that I was actually in intensive therapy for it. My anxiety had gotten so bad that I couldn't even answer the door. That's how bad it was. And that's when I was in intensive therapy. This is a long time ago. This is like way before I had kids. So I'm very familiar with that feeling. And so I can realize, depending on how I'm acting, so there's like little cues that my brain or my body will give me where I know I'm running in a like overstimulated, anxious mode. And it's when that happens where I need to stop and go, okay, what is it that's making me feel this way? Is this an accumulation of doing too much for too long? Is this something that I don't actually want to do? Like, again, I guess it's all about just like internal reflection and like listening to yourself, because it's really easy to not and to just like keep on trucking and do the thing until you get the
Keep like
outcome.
white knuckling it, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. And so I know one of the things for me with nervous system first is if I am getting snappy at my kids or myself or my husband, there's some sort of dysregulation that's been happening in my day or my week for me to get to that. Am I not getting enough sleep? Am I trying to take on too much? Have I said yes too much? Do I need to be saying no? Paying attention and recognizing those little signs instead of ignoring it and just,
Yeah.
I'm fine. I'm fine. It's like, are you fine?
I don't think you're fine. You don't seem fine. You don't do these
Yeah,
things when you're fine. You don't feel
and
these
it's
things when you're
okay.
fine.
It's okay to not be fine. That's another thing I think that as women, we have a tendency to ignore. I think we're all guilty of going, it's fine. I'm fine.
Or fine. Don't I look fine?
We all know what fine means.
It's not good.
It's not fine.
Well, pillar 3, you've got realistic wellness, which I love this. I love realistic wellness. What does realistic wellness look like?
For me, it's achievable steps that I can take. I, in the past, have had a tendency to bite off more than I can chew because I've got some grandiose goal in my mind, like, oh, I'm going to run a half marathon, or yeah, like some absurd, I don't know, you watch a couple of inspiring videos or something and you're like, I could totally do that.
Yeah.
I've never run a day in my life, but we are going to run a half marathon.
Let's do it.
And
What
then
could go wrong?
Yeah, exactly, right? It's going to be fine. And then I get myself into trouble in terms of like, oh, I'm actually having trouble achieving this goal. And then I feel stressed out and overwhelmed and like leading back into all those other pillars, like nervous system. And then you feel like a failure. At
Yeah.
least for me, that's how it goes to me. I'm like, I got this big goal. Yeah. I'm all like, woohoo, we can do this. And then it's like, oh, hang on a second. This is not
And
going
then
the
you
way I
feel
thought
bad
it would.
about yourself. It's like this whole spiral.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's about breaking it down to small steps and being like, okay,
Yeah.
maybe I'm just going to stretch my body for 10 minutes. Maybe I'll go for a 5 minute walk around the block. Okay. We're going to build into running half marathons. That's a great long term goal, but let's like break it down into smaller steps, please.
Truly. Pillar 4, self-trust over self-improvement. What does that look like?
I mean, I guess all these pillars are kind of connected. Self trust over self improvement is, again, listening to yourself, trusting yourself. And that's not something that just happens overnight. It is working up and listening to yourself and what you need on a regular basis. Like if you're not in tune with yourself and listening to what you need, it's going to take time. But learning how to trust yourself and that you're making the right decisions for yourself instead of just saying, I need X, Y, and Z in terms of like aesthetic changes and improvements. I would question why you want those things or why you think those are important things in your life. Break it down and see if it is true. So I'm just going to pick something completely aesthetic and like random. I want to have bleach blonde hair because I see on Instagram all these women and they just look so nice with hair like that. That's what I want. But I haven't actually given it any thought as to why I would want that. Why? Why? Because I see that. But if I'm like listening to myself, I'm like, I don't think I want that. I think I want to feel good about myself. I think that's what I actually want. I don't want bleach blonde hair. I mean, and if you're listening and you do want bleach blonde hair, that's good. Like, go
Get
do
that
that.
bleach blonde hair.
Yeah, go get it. But if I'm like bringing it back and I'm listening to what I'm actually telling myself, it's not the color of the hair. It's wanting to feel better about myself. And if that's still that, then go do that. But if it's not, just think on it. We're not in a rush. There's no rush.
Absolutely. It's like we don't need to do these snap things. We don't need to expect perfection. First, not ever, but like give yourself time to whatever it is.
It's okay to sit on something and like think on it for more than a day to like figure out what it is.
Yeah. And if you don't know the answer right away, that doesn't mean that you're not going to figure it out later. It's like
Exactly.
you don't have to have it all figured out right away.
Finding out the things that you don't like are just as important.
I would say, especially when it comes to a partner, when it's your relationship, where it's where you're investing your time. Yeah, finding out the things that you don't like. Exactly.
Yeah, anything. Honestly, anything. Like I even tell my kids like with trying food or like eating, like anything. And they're like, I don't like that. I'm like, well, how do you know unless you try it?
If you try it and you still don't like it, then we know. That's why my
That's the rule
16-year-old.
we have in our house. If you try it and you don't like it, that's fine. But at least you can say you've tried it and you know.
Your fifth pillar, it was life supporting habits. What are a couple life supporting habits that you have started implementing or you plan to implement?
Yeah, this one's a bit of a work in progress with me. So, water, that seems so basic. Life supporting habit, yes, for humans, we need water. That's a no brainer. But we're not all very good at that.
Oh, no.
I actually have fallen off the wagon when it comes to water. I see you're having some water right now. That's very
It's
good.
flavored, though. It's flavored because
It doesn't
boring
matter.
water.
You're having the water. You can put flavors and ice. You can dress it up however you want as long as you're having it. I've gotten a little bad with that, honestly. I know that some of my first videos were all like, drink the water. We're going to have the water. I need to get back on track with my water. I've fallen off the wagon. I'm off the wagon with water. That seems like a funny thing to say, but I need to get back on the water wagon.
The water wagon. I love that. I feel like it's hard though. At least for me, I love soda. I love Diet Dr. Pepper brings me joy. It brings me joy. And so having to intentionally say like, no, water is the priority. It's not easy. So I
get that. I mean, I don't get the Dr. Diet Pepper. I know that that's a thing when I was living in America. Like,
it's so good.
The Dr. Diet Pepper, I'm sorry, I just never got there. Like I tried it. It just tastes like cough medicine to me.
I
But
know.
I feel you on the diet soda. I am a big Coke Zero, or they call it something different
Hmm.
in Australia. No sugar. I don't know. But I call it my fridge cigarette.
The fridge cigs. The fridge cigs. Absolutely.
You can never take my fridge cigs. I'm sorry. I know I
Honestly.
run a glow up account, but I drink Coke Zero and I don't think I'll ever give it up. And if you want to unfollow me over that, please do.
If that's all it takes, well, then it's like blessings on your journey, right?
Like I need something at the end of my day, and that is what it is. It's a can of Coke.
You know what? And it could be worse. It could be so much worse. So,
It really
and it's
could.
like, and if you're pouring other good things into your life, if you're having water, if you're doing the other things, like that little special thing at the
See,
end
I
of your
need to get
day,
back on my water. I do actually have my water here.
and it's lovely. It's in a lovely little hydro
Well, see,
jug or
that's the designer. That's my Stanley. That's the designer in me. I have to like color coordinate everything.
So, Leila, it's been so wonderful talking to you and getting to know you. And I know that the people who follow you on Instagram that listen here, they're going to love getting like long form content from you, hearing things that would not fit into a minute or two long reel. And so, getting to know you a little bit better and kind of the background of your journey into this account. I think they're really going to enjoy it. But one thing that we do at the end of every episode when I have new guests is I have the final four questions I ask everybody. So, first question, what was your first concert that you attended?
I think there was two concerts. I went to Evanescence and Red Hot Chili Peppers. But I think it was Red Hot Chili Peppers was the first one.
I saw them when I was 15 and I loved it. I loved it. It was a good
Yeah, it
concert.
was amazing. So I think I was in year 12. So I think I was 17 or 18.
Okay.
And because I'm from a really small town on the west coast of Australia, so we have to travel to the nearest capital city to like go to concerts and stuff. And Daniel and I went to Perth, which is the nearest capital city, and saw the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and it was amazing.
I love that. Oh my gosh. And what is your best concert?
So this one was hard. I've got a tie situation. So I went to Flume when I was in Seattle,
Okay.
and so I don't really talk a lot about music on my Instagram, but I'm big into like electronic music, dance music, house music. I don't know. There's so many different genres for it now. So Flume was definitely a highlight for me. But I also went to Kings of Leon. And so
Oh,
in
okay.
Washington State, there is the Gorge Amphitheater, which is
Mm-hmm.
in Eastern
Famous.
Washington. Yeah, it's for those who don't know, it's in Eastern Washington, which is like, red dirt and kind of deserty. And there's this beautiful gorge, and they have this wonderful outdoor amphitheater. And we got to see Kings of Leon as the sun was going down at this beautiful, like outdoor. It was amazing. So, so beautiful. So it's a bit of a
Peak
tie.
life experience right there, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
it was amazing.
Who would play you in the movie version of your life?
I don't ever want to come across as conceited or anything like that. I struggle a little bit with that sort of stuff. But if we have to think like personality wise, probably Aubrey Plaza.
I think she would be really fun to have as
I've
a friend.
loved everything that she's ever done. I
Yeah.
love the quirkiness of her personality. You don't see it a lot on my Instagram because it's a lot of glow up stuff,
Yeah.
but I am actually kind of weird and quirky.
Are you an April Ludgate
A
from
little
Parks
bit,
and
probably
Rec?
more when I was younger.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I've always been kind of the weird girl, like going through school. I didn't have a lot of friends. I was just always kind of a little odd. I mean, I know now I wasn't. I just didn't fit into these like mainstream roles that
Hmm.
you have when you're kids and you're growing up. And my parents, my dad in particular, always kind of raised me to be myself and not give in to peer pressure. And so I
Hmm.
was very true to that. But yeah, I'm a little odd and quirky. I just don't always let it come out on the camera. So
Ah, I
I
love
wish
that.
there are more ways that I could bring out my sense of humor, because I am very sarcastic in real life and I am very dry and deadpan at times. But having that time in America, I learned that doesn't always translate very well. Some people take you very literally.
And they're like,
Yeah, they're
okay.
like, really? Are you
They
joking?
don't quite know what to say.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully we're able to see a little more, the full picture of
Yeah, I'm
you.
working on it. I'm figuring out ways as I'm
Yeah.
becoming more comfortable with everything.
Well, final question. What is something that you have found at 40
Something that I have found at 40.
or 41? 42? Are you 41 or 42?
I'm 42.
Okay.
Um, it's going to sound so cliche, and I don't know why I struggle with like cliche things, but life is just beginning.
That's what everything this podcast hinges on is, you know, life really begins at 40. Everything else before that is just research.
Yeah, like life happened before 40. A lot of it. Lots of life happened. But when you're younger, like I know that when I was thinking in my 20s and even in my 30s, oh, 40's so old. Like, what am I going to do at 40? Like, I'm just going to be old. And I don't know. I didn't have many more thoughts past that's old. But now that I'm here, it's not as doom as gloom as the 20-year-old version of me thought. I have a 2-year-old. Like, we're just in like the fun beginning parts of their lives and like all these adventures to look forward to with my kids and figuring myself out with, my kind of glow. And
A
it
whole
all just feels
unexpected
like a
journey.
beginning. Yeah, exactly. Not, I'm getting set for retirement or anything.
But this is the beginning of a new path that you would not even like 3 months ago would have been able to say, oh, yeah, this is what I'm going to be doing. This is where I'm going to be investing my time.
Absolutely
I'm
not.
going to be on an
No.
American podcast.
Yeah, I do have some very sliding doors moments. It's a bit of a throwback reference for,
I love sliding doors. I just watched it 2 weeks ago, actually, the
oh,
movie.
it's been a while, but that
I
movie
love
really
it.
stuck with me. And I do think about life in those terms now, like this is a sliding doors moment, like what would have happened if. Um, and I actually have one of those with my Instagram. That first video I made, I'm going to let you all in on a little secret here. That was not my first video, but I didn't post it. I made it, I watched it, I got my sister to look at it, who thankfully never ended up looking at it, and I deleted it. I got like super cringe over it, and I deleted it, and it's never seen the light of day.
Oh
And
my
I'm like,
goodness.
should I maybe share it one day? I
You should
don't
share it
feel
on the
like
anniversary of your account or something.
maybe I'll do something like that.
Be like, it could
But
have
it
been
was a bit
this.
more skit driven.
Okay.
And I just felt so uncomfortable with the way that I like sounded and looked. I was like, I can't do it. I can't do it. And so you see what I ended up doing, but maybe one day I'll
What could
share
have
it.
been? Yeah,
And
what
so
could
I'm
have
like,
been?
what if I had posted that? Would it have exploded the way that it did? Or would I now just be at a like humble 2,000 followers?
It would not be a community because you're building a community right now, and that's
I'm
a big
trying.
deal.
That's what I'm really hoping to do. I've always wanted to build a community of women to like support each other. And I
Yeah.
really hope that's what is happening. I feel like it is.
Oh yeah, as a member of said community, I feel like that is what it is.
I
That's
really
what's
want
being
to try.
built.
I've thought about this. I want to give us a name. Like,
Yes.
I don't
Like
know,
something
like
cute. Like,
like
hey glowies.
glowettes. Yeah, like
Yes.
glowettes or I don't know. Is that silly? Is that cringe? I don't know.
I do not think it is cringe. I like it and I can't wait to see where you go with it.
We'll see what feels natural. I don't want to force anything.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So Leila, you got some really cool stuff coming. Can you share kind of what you have planned for the next little bit and then also where listeners can find you and follow along?
Sure. So you can find me on Instagram, my kind of glow with an underscore because someone has my kind of glow, even though they're not using it right now. It's very frustrating.
Oh yeah, same with Found at 40. They don't do anything, so I found at 40 podcast. So I feel your pain.
Yeah. So my kind of glow, I'm sure at this point though, if you just type in my kind of glow into Instagram, it'll bring up my
You're the one with the
account.
followers.
Exactly. I'm working on setting up some sort of website. So that's a work in progress right now. But something that I am coming out with is a little 28-day small steps guide. It's called My Kind of Glow Reset. And I made it for myself but for others as well. I've sort of lost my way a little bit in this glow up. And so I wanted to get back to the roots of it all. And I came up with this little guide that's going to walk us through 28 days of just small steps. There's going to be two options that you can pick. Either option A, which is you don't have much in the tank, you know, you're someone who's dealing with a lot in your life already, or option B, where you've just got a little bit more to give. So I think the first day is going to be option A, take a breath, take a couple of deep breaths. And then option B is something that is a little more energy. And that's it. That's the whole thing for the day. And so they're just very achievable things. And so this is not going to glow you up. You're not going to be all glowed up by the end of it. It's kind of like the path to get to starting a glow up.
Okay.
So maybe you're feeling stuck in a rut, or you want to have a glow up, or you want to achieve these things, but you're struggling with how to get to that step. This is something that would help you along the way to the next thing.
It's like the step before the step.
Exactly. And I'm going to be doing it, and you can follow along with me. So I'm going to be starting on March 1st, and we're just going to take it one day at a time for 28 days, or you can just do it on your own time. So you can follow along on Instagram. We're going to have our own hashtag, but there will also be a free downloadable that you can download, and you can do it at your own pace. You don't have to start on March 1st, but if you want to come and join the community and see who else is doing it and just sort of join in, then we're starting on March 1st.
Well, Leila, I'm so excited. I want to do the reset. I want to do all the things. I'm going to be following along, cheering you on. I'm excited to be part of the to be named community. So I just love what you're doing.
Maybe I'll put it to the community to name the community.
Yes, be like, here are some ideas, or open to suggestions. And yeah.
Yes, I do love a good democracy.
Well, Leila, thank you so much for being so generous with your time and being so open with your thoughts and your experiences. I really appreciate it. I love that I've been able to have this conversation with you, get to know you a little bit. And I know that things are just going to keep on growing and building for you. So keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you so much. I've had so much fun. I could seriously talk to you for like another few hours. This has been so fun.
Would love to have a check-in at a later date. So let's do it. Thank you and enjoy your day.
Thank you so much.